Welcome to our expert interview series. I'm Pallavi. I make videos on money and motivation through books. In this series, I speak to financial advisors, experts, and authors, and I try to talk to the person behind the author. I'm happy to be joined by Dipesh Mehta. He's a certified financial planner. He runs a company called Happy Investor, and he is the author of the book Power Your Child's Financial Future. Welcome to the show, Dipesh.
Thank you, Pallavi, for having me here.
As we understand in general, personal finance is considered to be quite a boring subject. But you being in the field for quite a long time, how does the world look from your side?
Yes, I do agree that people really don't like personal finance, and personal finance also involves numbers, and some people are not comfortable. So I think the way personal finance has to be cracked is that we need to talk more stories, and then through stories we need to convey the message of why you need to save, why you need to insure yourself, why you need to think about financial security. So yes, through through stories and through other modes, personal finance can be dejarred.
And also there's a common perception that, in general, people may be ignorant, they're not disciplined, but somebody who's from the, finance background, he must be all sorted. So if you could tell us who takes care of your finances, and are you all sorted, or you also need that kind of discipline which is expected from a person who's, planning for the long term and all?
From a personal finance point of view, yes, I'm sorted. All my personal finance are on track. Be it my insurance, I have a term insurance, I have a health insurance. I'm on my track for my financial freedom. You need to have a coach. You need to have somebody along with you who would handhold you, guide you, make sure that you are not, influenced by your own behaviors. So this could be a surprise to you. I don't manage my own money, though I manage other people's money. But I don't manage my own money. I have a personal financial advisor, who's my friend, who advises me on where to invest my money.
Okay, so does that mean that is it difficult to manage your own finances, or is it always advisable better to seek professional help? You being a professional, you are still having a dedicated person to take care of your finances. How does that go?
Yeah. So here I believe that we as humans, we are always influenced by some behaviors. We have some biases in our own way. So we feel one particular task that we are doing is right, but it may not be really true in that context. So to remove all those biases, I think somebody else should tell from his own angle that what exactly needs to be done with their money, with the other person's money. So that is what exactly I do. And I give the same advice to other people as well, that do not go and manage your own money, do not drink your own medicine. Please go to a doctor and consult with him and take your medicine.
That's quite interesting to know from you. So also tell us about the book, Power Your Child's Financial Future, how long it's been, and I think it's your first book. So how did the idea come to you? Why specifically on child investments? Because I keep reviewing books on this channel, Money Talks Unscripted, and this is the first book that I came across which is only talking about child investment, be it for their education or for their marriage and other kind of expenses. So how did it start?
So I started my career in 2007, and I've been doing only one thing in my career is advising people on their investments.
Okay. Yeah.
And I've conducted more than 200 awareness sessions. One of the common thing that got discussed post the meeting or post the session was that people were asking what exactly I need to do to take care of my child's career.
Okay.
So people were not worried about retirement. People were not worried about other goals, and people were only worried that because the child is growing and then they were not sure what they need to be done. So I thought, let me put this across in the form of a book, so that parents get proper guidance on how they need to make the investments.
Right.
So here the thought process is that if your child is growing and if you're not done your investments, your child cannot again become a 1-year-old kid and then you can start again. Time lost is lost forever. So you have to make sure that anybody needs to make sure that that 15, 18 years of the investment for the children is planned well, and hence the child's future gets secured. So that's how this book came.
You've conducted so many awareness programs. You must be meeting so many parents. As you said, they're always curious to know how they can plan for their kids. But is there an interesting incident or a story that you would like to share where you might have come across, a couple or a parent who wanted to invest for their child, but they were in such a tricky situation because there might be a condition where the child is, almost about to join higher education and very less time is left because people don't really understand the difference between long term and short term and medium term, as we say in, the personal finance language. So, any interesting incident that you would like to share over here?
Yes, not only one, there are many, but one few instances that I can recall is that many parents, when it comes to child's education and the child is born, they, especially in South India, people end up buying some real estate
Okay.
and hoping that when the child turns 17, 18 year old, they're going to sell those real estate and use it for the child's education.
Right.
A very traditional way, not the right way to follow. So one parent, a couple had done this for this child. Unfortunately, during demonetization, due to demonetization, since the property were not in great demand, they were not able to liquidate that real estate. And that maybe it was in 2017 when the child required money. Unfortunately, they had to take a loan on that property and then fund for the child's education.
So, further
So
debt.
this is one common. Yes, yes. In spite of having a property, they couldn't liquidate, and they had to take a debt on the property and fund for child's education. I think this shouldn't happen to anybody. And when you're looking for child's investment, you predominantly have to look at financial assets rather than physical assets.
The review is already out. Those of you who've not checked out, you should go and check out the review of the book. And moving on in our conversation, I would also like to know from you, Dipesh, which was the first book that you came across, maybe as a child or as a young adult, that really influenced you? Any particular book?
Yes, I started reading when I was about 15 years old. I would say I was late. But my first book that I read was about from Shiv Khera, You Can Win.
Okay.
It's a self-help book, and it's very interesting. Simple points where the author describes how you can win major things in your life by doing simple small things. So that was my first book, You Can Win by Shiv Khera. And one of the interesting book on finance was Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki.
Right.
So that was my first book on personal finance.
So tell us any mentor that you've had in your real life, in your professional life, who's guided you or kind of helped you in your different, so to say, goals.
So when it comes to my business, I had many mentors guiding me at different stages of my life to help my practice grow.
Okay.
But when it comes to book, I was deeply influenced by Mr. Amit Trivedi. He has also written the foreword for my book, and he has been a mentor while I wrote this book at different stages of my book where I had got stuck and I needed some help. He was always available for me to help and take it forward from there.
Sure.
And I believe that mentors, coaches are more important in people's life, and they are the key persons who handhold you and take you to the next level.
Right, right. Of course, we've read a couple of books from Amit as well, and it's good that he inspired you and helped you to bring out a book like this, because this book is really helpful. It has all the strategies which parents should know when they are planning for their child. But also tell us any tips that you give regularly, and these could be quick tips that you want to share over here on this platform.
Yeah, the first thing that people need to sort out is their managing their cash flows.
Okay.
So I have a very simple thumb rule that if your income is 100 rupees, about 33% of your income should be savings.
Okay.
33% should be your EMI, and the balance 33% should be your expenses. If you maintain this ratio and if you regularly follow this, then the 33% of savings that you do create wonders in your wealth building process. The challenge that people have is that people breach this numbers, and we saw what happened in COVID, that people lost their jobs and then they had higher income, higher EMIs. So when you have higher EMIs, then naturally your income reduces, and then your savings reduces, and you don't end up saving a much bulk of your earnings. So this is one tip: 33, 33, 33.
33, right.
Yeah. And the second tip I would like to give is that parents need to first save and then spend later. So
Okay.
people do the other way. When you, let's say you get your salary on first, you end up spending all your money, and then you see by 25th or 30th, if you have some money, you go and you save. But don't do that. Do the other way. First save. Your first 5 days of the month, when you get your salary, you should end up saving that money, and the rest 25 days should be used to spend your money.
Right. So what happens if there's an emergency, like especially in the times of COVID, where unexpected things happen? People might not have, see it coming that they might lose their job, there might be pay cuts. So how to deal with those emergencies and especially financial emergencies?
Yeah. So when you make an investments, you don't only plan for decades. You also plan for months as well.
Right.
So you divide your investments into three categories: short term, medium term, and long term. Short term could be your emergencies, your other non-planned expenses. So you put a small amount of money in your emergency fund, which should be about 6 to 8 months of your monthly expenses. If you're done with that, and then parallelly, if you run your medium term and long term investments, and any sort of emergencies when it hits you, you always have a provision made in your short term bucket that helps you to tide over that crisis.
Right, right. Okay, so before we let you go, two things from you. What is next in the pipeline? Is there any book that is coming up? What is the plan?
So I also have conceptualized a concept called retirement bucket strategy.
Okay.
So this is for people who retire and then they don't know what needs to be done with the money that they get from their provident funds. The traditional thing that people do is they end up having some senior citizen savings schemes, and then the bulk of the money goes and gets into fixed deposit. And all this money, when they don't beat inflation, it becomes very difficult once you cross a certain age and then you don't have money. So what I have done is I have created a bucket strategy wherein if you have 100 rupees, how you need to devote your 100 rupees in different buckets so that it takes care of your emergency needs, short-term needs, medium-term needs, and your long-term needs. Your long-term needs are put in equity funds. Equities, put in for long-term. Your medium and short-term needs have exposure to bonds and debt. So this is the book that I would be coming up in the next one and a half years.
Sounds interesting because it seems to be the next step. Once the children planning and everything is all sorted, one has to look for their retirement plan.
I think the onus and the responsibility lies with the parents to start talking and teaching about personal finance to children. How do you do that? You go and you go to shopping and then teach the child what exactly you're trying. How do you take change? How we talk about banking. How do you do banking? What is ATM card? You give him a piggy bank and tell them that you need to save money, and when there's a need, you need to break this piggy bank, and you're going to use this for your during when you need it. So when these habits are being understood by children, they end up creating this synergy that I need to save my money once I start earning, and when they start earning, whatever they have learned in the childhood, that helps them to save money, and then I think that's the beginning of a good financial life.
Great to have you on this show, and it was wonderful knowing so many tips from you. Thank you, Deepesh, for taking time out on a weekend. Thank you for being here, and have a great weekend.
Thank you, Pallavi.
So this was Deepesh Mehta, author of Power Your Child's Financial Future. I hope you liked the video. For more content on money and motivation, do subscribe to Money Talks Unscripted. Till then, keep the talks on. Take care. Bye-bye.